Homo erectus was cool for many reasons, but one of my favorite are their stone tools. So let's talk about my favorite stone tools of all time, Acheulean hand axes. Now we're going to talk about the next stage of stone tools. Now we have the Acheulean stone tool industry. So the Acheulean here, we see it starting at about 1.5 million years ago, and we find it all over. It's in Africa, South Asia, West Asia, and Europe. Um, very, very useful, very successful. This industry is characterized by bifaces. Bi, of course, means two, so it's worked on both faces, so kind of the top and the bottom. And you can see with this one here, it's worked on both sides. The primary tool we see are hand axes. We do also see some other tools such as cleavers, but this Acheulean hand axe is the most common tool we see at this point in time. And you can see there's quite a variety, but in general, it's this teardrop shape that is worked on both sides. What's cool about these Acheulean hand axes is they are super efficient. They are a tool in and of itself, but if you chip off a little bit along the edge, now you've created a new flake. So it's a source of flakes, and it is the source of more tools. So this is why I love them so much, because they are the most efficient tool ever. You can use it and make more tools as well. So if you just need one thing that you're going to carry with you, this is it. So in some ways, it's kind of like the Swiss Army knife of stone tools, because you have everything all right there in your hand. I guess it's not as multi-purpose as a Swiss Army knife, but it's particularly portable and useful in that way. Less commonly stated, but it's certainly an interesting idea, is some people like to say that the Acheulean hand axe is the first evidence of an idea of beauty, because if you look at these, there is this nice symmetry. This one, of course, I handpicked for this example. I typed into Google beautiful hand axe. Most of them are not quite as symmetrical and beautiful as this individual one here. So I'm not sure that this idea truly holds up, but it is a curious idea. Because at some point, our ancestors got an idea of beauty because we have this idea today. And it is interesting to imagine at which point our ancestors started to have this idea themselves. What is interesting is to try and figure out how our ancestors were using these tools. And really, the question is like, when are our ancestors hunting and when are they scavenging? With early Homo, they're definitely scavenging, but again, we are hunters, so at some point that behavior did have to emerge. What's interesting is frequently at this period of time, we find bones with marks both from stone tools and from carnivores. So sometimes it can be hard to figure out who got them first. It does seem that our ancestors are mostly still scavenging at this point. However, they're starting to see larger animals, and it might be a little bit more evidence of confrontational scavenging. So, going up to a lion and trying to steal its kill, like that's some pretty ballsy behavior there. But we can also just look at the how stone tools have changed throughout time. So we talked about the Lamechwian, those really hunk and big tools. And then the older one, like still fairly big, but not, like as big as your head. And now with the Acheulean, we're starting to see more sophisticated stone tools happen. So can you explain what were the Acheulean stone tools? Who made them? And how were they different from earlier stone tools?